Days passed, and the happy couple expressed their love in the simplest ways. For instance, she would send him a daily message with an encouraging phrase, never forgetting even one. They engaged in normal activities like having drinks at a restaurant and attending events they both enjoyed, a perfect couple in the eyes of anyone who knew them. However, beneath that appearance lay something deeper. Unlike Jackson, who always insisted that his feelings were reciprocated and that there were no issues in their relationship, Serena felt something very different deep in her heart. She couldn't take a step without his gaze upon her. In other couples, this might be seen as a compliment, but in this case, it felt almost like pity when she surrendered herself to him body and soul. The most complicated part of all this was how to tell him that what had started as a beautiful story and lasted for months was, for her, over. Everything became clearer when watching a comedy film. She no longer felt her skin prickle at the sound of his laughter. A colder, harsher thought flooded her mind, as if it were the very polar cold, and she understood that this was no longer living. She thought the day would come when things would be like when she first arrived at the house as a stranger, for everything seemed simpler then. Yet, despite feeling unfortunate in spirit, she didn't dare take the step to end the relationship, perhaps out of pity or affection. She wasn't sure. But somehow, she didn't want to distance herself from him, from Jackson. So, she focused on hiding all of this and continued as if nothing were happening. Using the excuse that they spent too much time together and she needed her space, she began the habit of having breakfast out every Sunday. She would go to a cafe to order her favorite breakfast, a glass of cola chow with sugar, as she wasn't one for solids first thing in the morning. On the second Sunday of January, she entered as usual, not imagining she would run into an acquaintance. After consuming half a glass, she heard a familiar hello and responded without thinking, surprised to see the owner of that voice beside her, none other than Jaebum. After that, if anyone had looked at them through their eyes, they would have realized that sparks were flying. Dormant until now, as they returned to what they once shared. After a few moments, they began a conversation that made them feel comfortable with each other.